evening. It's Saturday evening, and it is the 1st of June. The 1st of June. Welcome to my home and at home and personal with me. I wasn't going to do anything this evening because I'm going to go out. Well, Saturday, oh God, like an old man, isn't it? What's it called? Daddy dancing. Anyway, I just want to come on because I just come back. I've been out all day and I just came back and I'm looking through some of the emails and stuff that I have. There was, it seems to me that the piece I've done on Donald Trump being found guilty, as if I was part of the jury, 34 counts of guilt. He's now a convicted felon, among other things. Anyway, one woman, I got a lot of nasty stuff, but you know I don't mind that. The hair's blown everywhere. You know I don't mind that, don't you? Do you hear that bird? I think he wants to be, I think he's a reincarnated human. And he's here every night when I'm doing these broadcasts. Do you know what I mean? Maybe, because I believe in reincarnation. But so who knows? Now, this is one of the nasties here, okay? And where are we here? Hold on. It says here, it goes on, nasty attacks me, she loves Trump and Trump. No matter how big of a convicted fellow, it's all fixed. But she finishes off, I'm not going to give her a name, I don't want to give her 5 minutes of fame, but she finishes off saying, I remember you as a radio talk show host. You were very funny and open-minded, but now you remind me of a religious quack full of hatred for a man you don't know. Be careful, it's going to raise your blood pressure. Honestly, what is it? The more he gets convicted of crime, the more he's loved. The bigger the lie he tells, the more he's loved. He gets more followers. Now, I'm going to share with you one of my court cases in front of a jury. Is my shirt shining? It's not shining. It looks like it's in the camera here. It looks like it's bright or something. Anyway, just quickly. So, RTE, Radio Television, which is and I've shared this with you some months ago. RTE, which is the Irish national television station, got in touch with me. I'd only just moved to Marbella with Wendy and my very, very young family. And I'd just taken over Oscars discotheque from James Hunt, who had just retired, I think, as the Formula One champion of the world. And God, the birds they're loving this. Come on, birdies, come and join me. And anyway, just forgot where I was. Yeah, so I'd just taken over Oscars, all very exciting time for us. As I say, we just moved down here. And RTE, Radio Television, got in touch with me and said they're coming to Marbella. They'd like to include me in a show. And I'd say, what's the show? It's called Today, Tonight. It's a sort of equivalent to Panorama in London, generally, a news program, whatever. And I said, well, this is publicity, of course. I did ask and inquire. I said, in those days, there was no extradition from Spain to England, so there was quite a lot of crooks living down here. So I did actually ask them, although this is from Ireland, I did ask them, what's the program about? And I did mention, I said, I take it there's no crooks in this program. And they said, they admitted this, they said, we're doing the program in 2 parts. Part 1 week, part 2 the second week. Yes, part 2 will be a few dark characters on it, Irish ones. But the first one is all about successful people living, Irish people from Dublin, from wherever, living in Marbella. And I thought, this is great, sure. You know me for publicity, and I just opened the club and I thought this would be great. We're just about to open the club. And they came down here and they had, in those days, the big cameras and they had the sock. You remember that for the microphone? The sock. I remember going down to a place called Victor's Beach. That was the in place then. With the cameras all came and the big sock and everything. Oh Jesus, Mars, get out of here. They were all like wanted people getting under the table. Didn't want to see the camera. Anyway, so the film was done. I had a great time doing it. And about a month later, it came out on air it was broadcast in Dublin or in Ireland. And my mother called me afterwards. She said, I've just seen Today Tonight. She said, oh, you were great. Oh, Jesus, you were great. You were fantastic and everything. So I said, fine. She said, I've got a friend coming out tomorrow and she's going to bring the video. Remember the videotape, I'm going to bring it to you. So she brought it and I invited a whole load of people around and Wendy made some sandwiches and some drinks and tea and whatever. We all sat down, lights out, and very excited there, the star. And the program started and the title was Life on the Run in the Sun. Silence. What's that? Or maybe this is the second week, and then after the video, we'll go to the first week. It opened up with me in the pool. Say welcome and all the usual bull that I talk. And then it went into a ticker tape for the next person on the show saying he was wanted for blah, 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 blah. And then the next person was a woman, I remember. She was one, they're trying to beat up the cameraman and run away from the, but I'm going, hey, hello, I'm volunteering myself. So the program was pretty gruesome. And of course there was dead silence in the room. And I thought, my God, I felt sick actually, I did, I felt sick. I'd been lied to by RT, etc. So I phoned my mother immediately after watching it, I was in bits. And she said to me, I said, how come you didn't tell me? She said, look, we wanted to get you the video out there just before and you could make your own mind up. But we spoke to your lawyers in Ireland, a company called Gore Grimes, and they're instigating a case against RTE for slander. That's what they called it. Anyway, it took some time to get to court, and eventually we got to court. Wendy went over to Dublin with me, and the court case was 3 days in front of a jury. And all I know, I remember my mother being called as a witness, and she said, you know, I had a patient, she said, she's a doctor, she said, I had a patient who came up to me and said, now doctor, you're well off now, your son living in Marbella. My son's in Mountjoy prison, and I can tell you something, that's where your son should stay in Marbella and stay away from here, they'll have him arrested. So this is the sort of, and my mother has a doctor reputation, this is sort of things coming back to her, among other people who are witnesses. Anyway, I remember the 3 days, and it was hell for Wendy. She hated it. The press were everywhere because it was RTE, not because it was me. But it was like a David and Goliath. I took on RTE is owned the national team. It's owned by the government, and it's like the David and Goliath thing. I took them on. It was my name. I wanted to protect my name, or my mother, my family name. Anyway, at the end, the jury came back. I remember it was a Friday night, the court case, and the jury had gone, and we had to wait in the hall of the huge courts of Ireland. But everybody was there. No one went home, and there was well-known television people were all there supporting their own TV, and we had to wait. And all of a sudden, word got out: the jury is back. The jury is back. TV cameras were everywhere, and they were saying to me, "How do you feel?" And I said, "I'm numb." And they read out the jury decision, and I'd won quite substantially. I just remember, I remember Wendy, I said, Wendy, what happened? And she said, we won. Let's get out of here. And of course, can you imagine the mayhem trying to get out of the court, etc., etc. But I won it. So this thing about fixing the jury that people are saying after my broadcast the other day, saying that I was naive, Of course you can fix the jury. The Donald Trump court case was probably one of the most watched court cases since the Second World War, the Nazi cases. It was watched by millions and millions and millions. Are you telling me that that jury could have been fixed? Who would have got into the jury and started to lie and started to, although he believed that he was whatever, that they fixed it? The guys, or whoever was in there, the women, whoever in the jury, would end up in jail for an awful long time. Do you think would risk it like for some liar like Trump? And you're saying then, fix it how? Would they pay the jury? Would Biden? Do you know, they never have announced, with Biden have said, here's a few bob now, well no, he's American, not Irish. Here's a few bob now, make sure that Trump loses this case. You got to have evidence. And that's what I said at the beginning of this little video chat. The more trouble that Trump is in, the more crime that he's found guilty of, the more popular he becomes. And that just, so when I see people attacking me and our Trump fanatics, that's the way I look at them. That's the way I look at them. They remind me of fanatical fans of rock stars. Trump cannot say a word wrong. And you know, they were saying if he goes to prison, because he can still be president from prison, he'll still be even more popular. There's no one in the history of time that's ever done. The badder he becomes, the more popular he becomes. Does it make sense to you? Have a great night. It's Saturday night. If you're going out, I might pop into you. But if you're staying in, enjoy a night in. Seize all. Maybe tomorrow.